Good afternoon, welcome to Toffee TV. It is the Everton Daily Live, joined in the studio by Dave Feely. He's back, he's ranting, he's ready. Locked, loaded and ready, aren't you?
Hiya, by the way. Peace out, Toffee.
Dave, how are you?
I'm good, actually,
Good,
yeah.
Okay, so let's get into it. Let's go. We don't need that on. Let's get into it. 10 games in, 14th place in the league. Still within touching distance of the upper echelons, but worryingly close, would you say, to being dragged? No, don't get me wrong. I still don't believe Everton to be anywhere near the worrying season. But just right now, looking at it, it's frustrating, isn't it? Because we've let points slip and we just can't score a goal still, really, can we?
No, we can't. And I think, no, I agree with all of that, what you just said there. But probably, honestly, we're probably where we should be in that league, because we haven't, even in the games we played well, we haven't killed teams off because of the reasons you've just outlined there. We can't put the ball in the net often enough, and we concede goals when we don't look like we really should be conceding. That one from Sunderland the other night was a minute after half time. You're winning away from home at a team who have got real momentum. Granted, they're only just come up, so maybe that'll work itself out through the season. But as far as being naive and gullible as an 11, as a coaching staff, as a staff, the whole thing, if you there's enough experience in and around that place to say, first 15 minutes, just sit on top of it. Yeah. You'll get the crowd out of the equation, and we should have been 3-0 up at half time. Yeah, we hit the post and the Barry's miss. We should have been legitimately, which is not a thing we often say away from home, by the way, should have been 3-0 up. So to go from that, dropped off a little bit last 10 minutes, first half, to go in and then to come out and concede in that manner was just like, all right, boys, come on. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, that is a collective problem. Yeah. Because what you need within the collective is individuals then, leaders, not specifically armband leaders, but leaders within that group to say, no, what we do now is we close it up, we push up to the halfway line, the midfield, push up to the halfway line, close the space and let them figure it out, because we just had 45 minutes where they couldn't figure it out. Yeah. So put that problem back to them. And after that, if you look at the first half, like we've just been discussing off camera, Dewsbury Hall and Grealish had that fullback on toast. They were overlapping little balls inside, both of them going either side. He didn't know whether it was arsehole or breakfast time. He didn't know what was going on. Yeah. And we were in all the time. We never played the same ball again. Stopped. Yeah. The whole second half. Yeah. So again, back to them. So to revert to your original point, it's frustrating. And I think now that we're, like you say, 10, 11, 12 with the cup games in to this season, it was probably apparent in the summer. We were, you can't reinvent the wheel, you know, and you can't go. It wasn't never going to be a quantum leap. All we were looking for was a new ground, fresh page, improvement, and we have seen it. Yeah, there has been glimpses, but back to when you say was it frustrating? It was frustrating, certainly, from my perspective and everybody else who was in that ground on Monday. But I think, in retrospect now, it might be just what it's going to have to be this season, and we're going to have to make do and mend. And it will be 2, certainly 3, maybe even 4 or 5 transfer windows before we see actual, you know, I wouldn't say quantum leap progress, but a couple of steps forward at once. Don't know. That's my opinion. No,
it is frustrating, because I just look back at like the West Ham game, Villa, massive missed opportunity. Spurs, we got done on off set plays against Tottenham. That was it. We had the better side overall. We got done. And the inability to take opportunities when they arise is killing us. Now, you're right. If you wanted to say, well, we'll pick an Everton team, pick the team, and where will this team go? Well, on a good day, that team could maybe push for a European place. I'm talking the last European place. I don't champion all that nonsense, but you know, conference, whatever, could, if everything all being equal. But we just don't score enough goals. We've had chances in games where Spurs, Beto, 3 minutes in, middle of the goal, miskicks it. Then Jack Grealish should score and doesn't. Hits it straight at the defender. I can go back to Villa, 3 minutes in, and Jai rolls it on a plate to Beto, middle of the goal. He kicks one foot onto the other. West Ham and Jai misses 2 good chances. We should have been 3-0 up at half time. Beto. All of these games, Man City away, you were there. Could have been 2-0 up at half time. Okay, whether that
I wouldn't know that because it was still outside.
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, that's whatever. A different story. But we could, we might have still got beat 4-2, but we still could have taken chances. Absolutely. And then Sunderland the other night, and I know there's a thing going round. Apparently, that Barry was offside when he missed it because it's Briol's head. It wouldn't have been given, but it'd have been nice to see him put it in the net regardless. Yeah. Grealish hits the post. So if you can start scoring these goals, you can move forward quicker. But if you want to do like a real objective look at it, we are still short, aren't we? For Everton to get into Europe, we'd have to get real momentum going. And we've done it second half of last season. We still didn't win enough games, but we got that momentum going. We'd have to get the momentum going. We'd have to defend better and score more goals. But if you actually strip it away, you go, what is underneath? And right now, we don't really know what's underneath, other than when we switched it at Wolves in the Cup. And yet that didn't include mail and roll and things like that, right? We switched it and they come up short. And I know they made loads of changes and they had something to prove. And even on that night, Everton were the better side, but they didn't score a goal, so it's irrelevant. So no, they were. It was a terrible game. It was really bad. And so when I try to assess it, when I take the frustration and the 13-year-old away from me brain, when I'm kicking the couch and stuff, and walking on the Cobham out after the Spurs game and steaming down Regent Road, my head by my feet. And you step back from it, you look and go, okay, well, maybe if a few of the subs had been given more minutes, we'd have a better take on this. We don't know whether you love Tyler Dibbling or you think Tyler Dibbling's poor or you just haven't got a clue. We don't know. The lad's had 62 minutes so far in his Everton career, and we're in November. Tierno Barry, I keep saying it, and I know some people in the comments can't have him. Well, that's okay. Me personally, I'd go all in on him for the next 5 games and at least give him 70 minutes and let Beto have to be chomping at the bit to get on, just to see whether he improves with games. I think he will, but you don't know, do you? Mail and roll, I've liked what I've seen. The manager told us he really liked what he'd seen, and the lad didn't get off the bench the other night. So I'd go in with him. Yeah. And then that's just 3. And then I'd start to try and mix it up because it's not working. So I'd go, okay, well, as the Jake O'Brien experiment ran its course a little bit now, 6'6" centre-back, and we're asking him to bomb up and down and whip balls, that kind. So I have to have a look at that. Make up of the midfield. Is Idrissa in need of a blow? For now,
will Alcaraz help that? Will
Charlie Alcaraz create? Where are you on any of them?
I agree with all of it. First thing I would say was definitely agree with Mail and Roll. Everything I've seen about him, little cameos, thinking, he looks to have the tools in his bag. This kid, so let him. I remember when Fellaini first come, and in the first 18 months.
Remember the derby? It was the worst debut I think I've ever seen in my life.
What it was, he started them in front of the defence, then sent him midfield. Now he's sent, and it's kind of like, hang on a minute, we need this, so we're going to fit him around this. Yeah. That isn't really fair to a kid at his age. We haven't paid the actual price for him yet.
No.
So let's say, okay, he's a totem for going forward, because apparently this is what this season is finding out what we're going to keep, where we're going to go forward. That's what the Friedkins, I imagine, they haven't asked my opinion, but I would imagine that they've got an immediacy plan, but they've also got a next 3 years plan. And who'll be here and who won't. Yeah. If you look at the summer with the Brandwaite deal and whatnot, the goalkeeper, that's what it appears to be, the thinking behind it. So I'd say he'd be the first one for me.
Just pull that slightly in towards you, Dave. Sorry. You can sit right back, but just make sure that's closer. Yeah.
Charlie Alcaraz, maybe not starting, but the one thing about him is he's affected games when he's come on offensively, and that's apart from the right back position, which has been a problem this season. And he's played well for us.
No, he has.
Out of position, so we shouldn't really slag him for it. But no. I agree, it's an issue. However, the going forward thing, Charlie Alcaraz has helped. He's looked to be an improvement. Of whoever it is who he's replaced, he seemed to add more to that dynamic.
So therefore,
as we're going forward. So you'd have to say those should be your go-to moves when you're changing. Because no matter what position we are in the game, because you should. This is a league where being offensive is as much about mentality as it is about your squad. If you look at Bournemouth last year when he beat us, we were winning the game, weren't we, with 8 minutes to go, and ended up losing it, all because of their substitutions. That's as much a mentality thing,
of course,
as it is an actual personnel thing. I'm trying to just bring that as an example. But so we never try and kill them off. We just think, we're winning, we'll hold out. And that's dodgy and it's rolling the dice. You're giving them potential to get back in, because what happens then? They get one, and we start flapping as a group, and then they're looking like they're going to win the game. So instead of getting 3 points from it, you're now getting none, and that's what destroys confidence within the squad and within the fan base. So I'd say maybe getting smarter with the substitutions, absolutely, and yes, rotating. But wouldn't people in and out?
What you've just said there about Charlie Alcaraz, right? Yeah. Wouldn't it be worth a go giving him a couple of starts off the striker? He's the one who breaks the lines. He's the one who feeds the ball in. The other night, he got it wrong, but he still almost created the winner for us twice. Yeah. And he was only on the pitch for 15 minutes or 12 minutes,
and his
whatever.
His own instinct is to go forward.
Exactly.
He gets the ball, he looks at the goal, he doesn't look sideways or backwards. I'm not calling anyone out.
No.
But the others maybe don't do that.
Skill sets, Dave.
Exactly.
Dewsbury Hall has said all season his best positions are we'll use number 8, right? But it's basically a midfield player. His best position is just a midfielder. So and probably a little bit deeper, get it, pass it, get it back, move it about a bit. Yeah. It's not necessarily, because if you watch where Dewsbury Hall is, very rare does he run beyond the centre forward.
No.
Very rare. I mean, it's amazing if we've got anyone by the centre forward at any time.
Very good.
But he very rarely breaks beyond them. But Charlie Alcaraz does. I just think back to Palace at home the other week, and they came with 3 at the back. They had a box midfield tucked right in, and we didn't know how to cope in the first half, because essentially it was 4v2 in our midfield for most of the half.
Yeah.
He made the changes at half time, puts Alcaraz on. First thing he does is snap into a tackle after about 5 seconds of the second half, which gets the crowd going. Does a couple. But there's that moment just after Mateta missed that open goal, which Barry would have been killed for, by the way. But anyway, neither here nor there. Where he bursts through, down at the shot, he heads it through, the runs on, smashes it, and the keeper makes a great save. And then the ground just sort of responded, everyone up. And then he's there getting involved in the ball forward, makes a run with Irabunum. Irabunum gets say, now we get the pen. He's then on the edge of the box, threading the ball through for Ndiaye, who crosses it for Grealish's goal. He wants to get forward, he's having shots. You know, I think back to it's only Mansfield, but I think back to that game. He's the one. He's on the edge of the box, curls in the top corner, off we go.
Yeah.
You know, went away last year. You were at Palace when he makes this proper debut. Scores one, creates the first from breaking forward. Yeah. Outstanding down at Newcastle, gets the winner. Could have had 2 or 3 more. You know, these games where he's really affected it. And if you're, but all I'm going to say is, if we've got a centre forward, whether it be Barry or Beto, be Barry for me for the moment. If you've got someone who wants to get up with him and wants to maybe play a little one round the corner, he's the one to do it. It's not Dewsbury Hall. Dewsbury Hall wants to keep everything ticking over. And that's why, for me, at the weekend, I'd be moving James Garner to right back. Jake's done a great job, but he's a centre back. And he's a defensive centre. He's a defensive right back. We don't need this on Saturday. We need to be on these, right? I'd have him there, and then further back, you've got the decision then. Does Roll come in fully to start, or is it Drissa and Dewsbury Hall a little bit deeper, ratting around, picking pockets, have Alcaraz breaking forward, and then you've also got James Garner pushing higher up the pitch from an area that he can put balls into the box. Because I just think if David Moyes is going to go, like when we go to United, I'll expect him to play Jake at right back because you're away and he'll want to sit in and all that, right? Whether we think United are great or they're not, that's how he'll play because it's Man United. They are. But at home, I don't think we could have handpicked a better home game this Saturday. Doesn't mean it's going to be easy. Far from it. I don't think you could pick any. I think Wolves would give us a game at the moment on Saturday at home. But there's a team below us. They're a team that are conceding goals. They're a good footballing team because Marco's teams always are. But they can beat Gora. And I just think this weekend we need to boost everyone. And I think this is an opportunity to be all over Fulham from the start. If we go in cautiously, they're going to grow into the game. This is a team that had never won at Goodison until COVID. They come in COVID, they beat us 2-0. And since then, we haven't beat them at home, which blows my mind. Because Fulham at home was the banker, wasn't it? The one that couldn't fail, the one that's never failed and all that. And all of a sudden, it's now a really tough game. So that's why I think this weekend, I'd be looking for that more offensive look from the start. I don't know whether he will. But I'd have Alcaraz off the striker maybe, and I'd have James Garner at right back. And then Roll would be the first change for me. The first change. Now, we might look and go, Adrissa looks tired. We'll have Adrissa off and we'll have Roll on. And then Adrissa comes on for that last half an hour and can be busy, can do his 90 minutes in 30. But I just think if we go in again and it's practically the same 11, I think the message in it, like 1:45 on Saturday, everyone will go, oh, for fuck's sake. Here we go again. What do you think?
First of all, yeah.
You can say no if you want.
Well, I can
and
do,
you will,
but
yeah.
I'm not going to because I'm all over that number 10. I don't like to doing that either, the number 8. Number 10.
Yeah.
But I'm going to do it in, like, if not a second striker, but in support of the striker. And back to my initial point about Alcaraz was that it's his instinct.
Yeah.
It isn't Dewsbury Hall's instinct. Dewsbury Hall's a decent footballer, by the way. I'm not trying to ribbon him. But I'm saying, in this squad, that's what's frustrated me to date. That we haven't... Okay, neither of these two centre-forwards seems to be working. But both of them have always been on their own. Predominantly against 2, sometimes 3 defenders.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we're going to lose this game anyway, let's try 2 of them, even if it's for 15 minutes. Yeah. And maybe one off his arse, it'll hit him on the back. I don't care. Look at that Jasheris from Arsenal in the York. Literally hit him and went in the goal.
Yeah.
And scored 2 more in the next 10 minutes. Couldn't hit a cow's arse with a banjo for like 3 months.
Yeah.
It hits him, goes in, scores twice. That might be what we need. It might not be. But let's just give it a go and go down swinging because you're getting nothing out of it.
That Spurs game, like we were 2 down at home. We were the better team, if you like. We were pushing. I don't know what there's an argument to say they picked us off, but if you actually step back and watch it again, I watched a lot of it again to think my eyes were playing tricks here. They done nothing. The first time they ventured out of their half, they got a corner and it was terrible marking. Brien should have stayed with Van der Ven and he didn't. And it was a free header. The second one, the keeper's got to do better. Yeah. But on the second one, was the second time they broke out of their box and got a corner and they scored from it.
Yeah.
Right? So we were 2-0 down. We had a goal disallowed. We'd missed 2 sitters and we were getting beat 2-0. No issue. I mean, I'd love Everton to do that anywhere, by the way. Yeah. Absolutely love it. But in that game, once it got to like 65 minutes, we're 2-0 down. Vicario made the save and better and the deflection from James Garner. Other than that, there was nothing. So in that game, why didn't the manager just go, we've lost anyway, right? Dibbling, get on, Rowley put on, hadn't he? And like you say, instead of me going, it's Barry for Beto, go on, stay up there. You go and get up there with them.
Yeah.
We'll go 4-4-2. We're 2-0 down anyway.
Yeah.
Let's knock a few direct ones and see if they cope with that. If they do, last 10 minutes, I'll tinker again. Just to do something a little bit different. And I think should know with, and I do like Moyes. Ped said something and he's, varying times I'll agree with Ped or whatever, but he did make a great point with it. With David Moyes, there's like, and I think you alluded to it before, there's like 70% that you really like, and there's 30 or 25 to 30 that drives you mad with him, doesn't it? And it's like he's done brilliantly since he come and he's talked the club back up like he should. he come in last season. We'd gone 9 out of 11 games under Dyche without scoring a goal. And he come in, and like you said, positive and instinct was just get forward. We still got the same plays, but and all of a sudden, Everton was scoring goals, and you were like, we couldn't score a goal the other week. And that is mindset, which is what you talked about before. So, do you agree? Because this has been said a few times. I think Ped's already said this as well, maybe this week or last week. We sort of played with the freedom last year when we didn't have a right to play with the freedom because we are back. But it was almost like, well, our backs are against the wall, and unless we do this, we're not getting out of this anyway. And we got out of it, and then we had the freedom, and that's why we went to Forest and won, and Newcastle and won, and should have got something at Chelsea, and this, that, and you should have got something at Anfield. You know, we've hit a post and had the goal disallowed and all of that. But a lot of people feel like he's gone overly cautious, slipped back into the 30% this season when it... Does it feel like that to you or not? Or certainly the last half a dozen games?
I would, yeah.
Is it overcautious that why we're not... What is it? What can you put your finger on?
I don't know. Maybe. I think.
Do you agree with the 70-30% analogy, by the way?
It reminds me of my art where sometimes it's like me dad. I'm right, you're wrong. Why are you right and I'm wrong? Because the evidence would be to the contrary. Never mind. I'm telling you.
I know best.
That's the bit what drives me.
I have pulled that a bit with Zach, and half the time I'm wrong.
The substitutions and the like for like thing were patently the like for like wasn't working for 65 minutes.
I hate the like for like sub.
And you're just doing the same thing.
I hate it because it's...
So, okay, today, write it off. 3 months in, you have to review yourself. You and the coaches have to do a performance review as we're going forward, and then an annual one. But as you're going forward, you think, maybe if we hadn't have done that, so what's your go-to plan for Saturday? Oh, I know, we'll do it again, the exact same thing again. And you're like, hang on a minute, isn't this repeating the thing and expecting different
Well, this
results?
is what...
Didn't Einstein say that's the definition of insanity? But wasn't that him saying that?
Do you think, though...
Mr. Big Brain?
Do you think, when you sign a contract at Everton as a manager, that you have... That must be in it? Because I remember Sean Dyche, when we couldn't win, saying, what I do, when we have a little bad patch, we all look at it as if we were a new manager. He'd do the same thing every week.
Exactly.
Lampard said, I'm always assessing, always. He'd take a striker off and put a striker on, and take a right winger on and put it... And it'd be no different. Rafa Benitez, whatever.
Are you trying to stress me out?
No, I'm just saying.
Because I've had one of them strong coffees.
So you're all right. But that's the thing, is that it's almost like... It's almost like even when we've had like Ancelotti, Carlo was different because you give him like stuff out your cupboard and he'd make you a great meal out of it, type of thing. Exactly. The footy wasn't very good. The results were excellent. Yeah. But even Marco, and I really like Silva, it was the same. It was like, we've got a left winger and he's not playing well because they've got that system locked down. But what we'll do is we'll just try it different. Not like, well, we'll put him on, but we'll put him on the other side and mix it up. We'll put two up.
Swap them over.
I remember Lampard with Boreham Wood. Boreham Wood come. They were in the National League or whatever. They came. They put everyone and 4 fans somehow snuck on the pitch, and he just sat in our box. And we just kept going, bum, 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 doing the same thing. He tried Patterson as a right wing back and hooked him at half time when it was 0-0, and you're going, it's 0-0. Why have you took him off? This is a game where you're not playing. Yeah, I'm not saying he would have changed it, but what I mean is we just done the same thing. Then made the same sub. You're going off, so we're putting him at right wing back. It's not like, we're flipping back to a 4-4-2, or we're going to put 2 up and go direct, or we're getting runners. We almost seem to just go, we'll just do the same, but with a different face in there, rather than tinkering. And that, I think, is what we're doing at the moment, which is a little bit frustrating.
I agree, ostensibly. Also, with a view to Saturday, what you were alluding to in your previous point about Fulham. The last game with Michael Keane scored when we were in the away game, we beat them down.
Yeah, it was great, yeah.
But the thing about Fulham is, and yet they are below us, but they're good going forward. But what they won't do, whereas United probably will do it next time, is they'll lock it down, United, because they've improved in that area, and that's where the points have come from. These are still a little bit Marco Silva at Everton, where they look great when they look great, and when they don't, they don't. Yeah. I know that's counterintuitive, but I'm trying to say, honestly, if you let them attack you, they look $1 million. But if you attack them and get 1, maybe 2 up, they don't look so offensively.
No, they want to go.
Potent.
They want to get out of there.
So then,
like
therefore,
the
that's got to be factored in to the equation as regards to the game plan and the selections and particularly the substitutions. And also, we need to figure out whether we're going to jump on this whole Tony Pulis long throw bandwagon, because that's what seems to be going on in this league. It's like, oh my days, that's what's happened. You were talking about Tottenham. We got bullied by Tottenham, and we only got bullied by Van der Ven, and he is big, he's a unit, but we've got like 3 6-foot defenders.
By the way, see his goal in midweek down Europe.
I believe so.
To be fair to him, it was incredible.
Someone told me that he's the fastest player in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Was he on a motorbike when
he literally picked the ball up on the edge of their box, Spurs box, and just ran past everyone and slotted. It was a hell of a goal. He didn't do it against us, but he was. But then Chelsea just bullied him the week later.
I believe so.
Yeah, and he ran off with a cobble.
What I'm saying is, figure it out.
Yeah.
And what?
Why can't we take a good set piece, Dave?
Well. How long have you got? Have you got breakfast gear here? Because that's what it might be.
But it's like you're saying, you're absolutely right. There are moments in games that can flip it. Arsenal have gone, set pieces are the biggest thing.
Yeah.
That's why they're running up. They've conceded. In fact, in October, I don't think they conceded the shot on target, Arsenal. I think was the stat, or it was 1. They haven't conceded the goal for about 9, whatever it is. It's. I think Soboslai was the last player to score past them. I think someone said. So therefore, he's got that sorted. But they know in tight games, the set plays are so important. Yeah, long throws. We've got a 6'6" lad taking a long throw.
The thing about set plays is. Okay, I'm not saying right or wrong, okay, that's a thing.
Yeah.
So we have to factor it in. It's a thing. But there's 2 points with it. There's defending them and there's also attacking them. If you're getting beaten up by them, you need to have an answer for them.
Yeah.
And just so it equals itself out. And then we all get back to playing football and who can overlap and who can score goals. Yeah. But if you're getting suckered by this... Brentford had Liverpool on toast the other week because of it. And now they seem to have figured it out. What I'm saying to you is, we, as we're going along, the coaching staff specifically, after finding an answer predominantly to, we're impotent. We get to 65 minutes in every game and we've got no answers. It doesn't matter whether we're playing Arsenal, Fulham, Bournemouth, Wolves, whoever it is, we seem to come up against these issues all the goddamn time. That needs looking at. And it's not just a personnel issue. Yes, obviously, it is a transfer window issue. But you've got to try different combinations just to see. You might get to the end of that process 3 months later, at the end of December, early January, and say, actually, it didn't work. We tried them all. We permed it all round. We swapped wings with them. We brought Grealish into number 10 sometimes. We put Dribbling on for the... Do you know what I mean? Just try it, shake it up. And if that's the case, we'll get there. Most Evertonians, not everyone, because we're cranks as well, put their hands up and say, at least you give it a go. Well, now we're in November and we have not given it a go. It just seems to be the substitutions, like learning by rote in school. Everything the teacher says, you say back. Everything the teacher says, you say back. And it's the same shit. You're not giving rein to individualism. And that is where skill and the dropping the shoulder, breaking the lines thing, that's what you want in this league.
Well, ironically, that was how we scored the other night, was the one who does do that for us, which is Illiman and Jai, and obviously it was an incredible goal.
It was beautiful.
He's been brilliant, hasn't he?
But again, he come off the line. He wasn't. It's been frustrating me, especially at home with the 2 of them. Tottenham game was case in point. Our 2 best players with the ball at the feet within the football club are marooned on either side of the pitch. They're in our half. They're not involved in the game. May as well come and sit by me. And then when we do get it, they're doubled up on them because everybody else has watched our videos and said, see him and him. That's it.
Because the fullbacks don't go beyond them.
And the fullbacks,
that's what I'm saying. That helps. If you've got them running, they can't double up.
They can't double up. But what I'm saying is, so therefore, I don't know. Put one of them number 10, swap them round,
mix it,
mix it up.
People think
it might not work. I'm not trying to say this is rocket science, but at least give them something to, because all it is like we were talking about off camera before, this is not Ajax in the 70s where it's total football. This is just 2 banks of 4. That's all it is. The Tottenham was the same. Just 2 banks of 4 and you can't break them down. Well, that's not good enough. So you have to then tinker, use your substitution better. Instead of just bringing 1 for 1 because someone injured, think to yourself, well, in 10 minutes, I want to use 5 today to give me the best possible chance of getting something out of this game. So what I might have to do now is use 2. I was going to bring him off in 8-10 minutes anyway, so I might want to do it now and then bang, bang, bang later on. I don't know. It's just, I'm thinking, I'm spitballing.
If you look at it the other way, then, and I agree, we've got to have a look that way as well. If we look at it the other way, we're 7 points off second.
Yeah.
But it might be, like you said, it might be a case of we've just got to. Because I think the thing about David Moyes is, and we know him better than anyone. He was our manager for 11 years and he's back in and all that. And he done a good job at West Ham overall, won them a trophy and all that. Is that he has a set formula of getting points and he knows it'll get him points. And that's why I'm saying Everton won't be any danger with him. Because they won't. They might not be what they should because he's a little bit risk averse. And he'll just be looking at it going, well, we win on Saturday. We'll have 15 points. We'll have took 4 points from six this week, which is a decent return. If he does that every few, Everton will be in Europe.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And he'd look at it that way and go, well, if he gets to Saturday at 5 o'clock and the whistle goes and Everton are on 15 points and the 3 or 4 points off a Champions League play or whatever it is, I just mean where it is, going into the international break, we'll all step back and go, all right, well, we're well placed. The problem is, wasn't the problem, but the thing and the danger is, if it doesn't go like that on Saturday and then you're going into that, the next bit of the season, it never stops. The games are thick and fast. Plus, we're losing Illiman and Jai and Idrissa Gana Gueye. So we're losing our top scorer and we're losing Idrissa Gana Gueye for 7-8 games, which is huge for us.
Yeah.
And yet Dibbling hasn't had hardly any time. So what is he not coming in? Is he going back to Dwight McNeil, who he doesn't want to give any minutes to anyway, seemingly? Or is he going to put Alcaraz out of position, even though it's better? Yeah. And that's the thing. So, but if Everton do win Saturday, they're all right. They're in a decent place. And I think we need to, because it keeps everyone ahead of us in touch and it keeps your foot away from everybody who's trying to grab onto your ankle lower down. It put 4 points between us and Fulham and things like that. So that's where we've got to be looking at. But building into sort of the January transfer window, and I imagine Everton will, unless something is too good to leave, I imagine Everton will just be looking at a couple of loans in January and then maybe focus again next summer.
It's unlikely they'll spend proper money in January.
Unless something's there and you go, we can't leave that.
No, there might be someone who's going to be out of contract. That might, okay, but I agree with you. I doubt very much that we'll venture into the transfer window. Into the market permanently. Yeah. It's unlikely. It's also a really bad time to buy. It's a seller's market, not a buyer's market in the January window, ostensibly. Yeah.
What would you like? What kind of loans would you like to see then? Not, you don't really need to name players, obviously, but what would you like to see?
For example, I was coming back there the other night, and the Charlison was, because they are looking to get him out the window, and you might be able to prize him out there with a view. You'd have to give them some sort of commitment because they don't want to lose him in January, but they do want to get rid of him. So you might be able to convince them and then come to a sort of middle ground. The only reason why I'm bringing the Charlatan specifically, he's not a dream sign, but he'd run back up here. He'd be mad keen to do it, and he'd buy into the project. Good touch, and will score a goal. Wouldn't have missed all them empty net ones. Might have missed a couple, but for the most part would have buried a couple of them too. And we wouldn't be on them 15 points. To wit, if you'd have said to us in August when I came in here, when the transfer window was on, that you'd get to the last international break and you'd have 15 points. Well, we only got 20 odd for the last 3 or 4 seasons. So I'd have probably said, I'll buy that.
Well, last season we only had 17 in January the 10th.
I'll buy that now because this is the thing about football, like you just said then, post-transfer window, it gets all hectic and everything's going, then the FA Cup starts, and you can't turn round, for the games are flying at you, and then you're either losing points, gaining points, and then your expectations are out the ceiling, or they're in your boots, kind of thing. So we have to try and keep a bit grounded with it and say, I hate the term, it's a project, but this is actually a project. We've just moved grounds. What we probably won't do for another couple of 100 years. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's new owners. We literally made, over the previous decade and beyond, but particularly the last decade, every serious mistake a football club could make. We did that. We set the bar on it, mate. We wrote the book on it. So all of those things, it's like turning around an ocean liner. Yeah, you can turn it around, but it's going to take a while to do it. But once it's going the opposite direction, that in itself creates momentum. So we have to, I get that everyone's frustrated, and I am still going to all the away games, so I am definitely frustrated about it. However, I think if we step away from it a bit and say, we might have to wear it this season, honestly. For example, it's just literally come to me as I was talking. The Calvert-Lewin thing, we had this conversation last year, we had it the year before. Well, even though both centre-forwards have been underperforming, I haven't met an Evertonian who said that we wouldn't do that deal again, to just let him go. Whereas we could have been here now. He's gone to Leeds, scored 6, 7, 8 goals. And they're now above us in the table. And we're sitting with going, hang on a minute, how clever was that? So what it is, it might be just nominal gains, minimal gains, where we just have to deal with it. So there's not going to be any rainbow moment, no lightning flash moments. We just say, do you know what? Make do and mend, but muddle through. And back to your point, sorry to go round the houses on it, but Fulham might be the ideal game, particularly just before a transfer, international break rather, whereby they will be open in that they will look to hurt you, but you can also hurt them. So then that back, what I said before about the mentality thing, how you set up, and particularly using the crowd, obviously, because this ground, anybody else would be doing that. That's the reason we went there. The decibel thing. And in a couple of seasons, we'll start hearing players who are no longer saying, oh, that was impressive. That's in the game now. That cup game that night, we've got to start making that a weapon, definitely. But the substitutions have absolutely got to be improved. And unless there's an injury or someone's having a proper stinker, we should say in 80% of the games left this season, I want all of our substitutions to be looking to win the game every single week. That's my opinion.
That should be the aim, Steve Peace says, Baz, do you think there's any chance we could sign John Duran? I know he's in a weird situation because he's contracted to a Saudi club and on loan of Fenerbahce, so I don't know what it takes to get him, but he clearly doesn't want to stay in Saudi. I think he'd be good for us, only 21. Depends how much. John Duran is good, but you got to look at why were Villa happy to let him go first?
That was crazy money.
Which was weird. And he got big money and he's gone there and he's already out the door and gone.
Didn't he go on strike when Mourinho got sacked, wasn't that? Isn't that what happened?
He's a little... don't get me wrong, the player, the attributes, really, really good. Really good. I don't know enough about what he's like away from it today other than to question some of his choices. And the other thing is, if he's played for the Saudi team and he's played for Fenerbahce, we couldn't get him anyway. 3 clubs in a year, but he's one to keep an eye on. I just don't know how much he'd want and how much.
One of the best goals I've ever seen in the stadium.
Hell of a goal. Froome Pinto says, why has no club looked at Eden Terzic? Well, Everton did look at him, didn't he? Said he didn't fancy it. Took Dortmund to a Champions League final, win percentage above 60%, managed at youth level, invested in young players, genuinely has a ceiling in the game. Everton in my lifetime have only ever approached Premier League managers, so when it's time for us to branch out and take the risk, when is it? This isn't me saying Moyes out, he was the right option in January and I've got time for him till the end of the season, but for us to progress, we really need to try something new. Other clubs like Bournemouth and Brighton seem to do it, so why can't we?
He's only got a 2.5-year contract, Moyes, though. So by the end of this season, that will be a proper issue So they're either
there'll be a year left, won't it?
So that's when you start talking. So he himself will start mentioning it, I imagine.
Paul says, all right, lads, great work, as always. After the last few days, which I thought was a solid away point from home, I just thought I'd throw something out there and probably get shot down for it, but here it goes. I honestly think, as a fan base, we've got to be a bit more positive. If it's time for change at the club, then that includes us too. We can't go quiet when the team needs us, and we can't be on the players' back every time something goes wrong. Since moving to the new ground, I've tried to keep a positive outlook. I get the frustration, we all feel it, but we're part of the club as much as anyone else, and the standards are ours too. We've got to do our bit. Everyone will see it differently, and that's fair enough. It's just how I see it. Sorry, bit of a long comment. No, it's not a long comment. It's a good comment. I mean, what do you think? What do you think on that?
But then I also think it's less about Evertonians, even less about football fans. I think it's just society now. Everyone wants me, and I want it now. I've noticed that. Where if I'd have booed when I was a kid, and my dad might do it, but and my dad's mates, but if he took me when I was a kid, he'd just literally look at me and say, your sister's coming next week. She's a better Evertonian than you are. And I'd have just, that was me. And we were getting beat. Met much of this time. I never crossed my mind. And now it seems to be the reggae, it seems to be the go-to move. I'm not saying I was right and they're wrong. Please don't misunderstand me. But I'm saying, I think that's just society. But definitely, this ground, we need, our away support is second to none.
It's unbelievable.
For the noise, for the numbers. And I do it myself, and it is frustrating. Please don't misunderstand me. It is hard work at times. But we can put our away support up against anybody. It's the home thing where we need to up our game. It's not where at times it's as good. It's no, but it can be as good as anything in the.
You know it is. At home, our atmosphere's a class.
What I'd say, I kind of take your point, but I wouldn't say that. What I'd say, it dips, and it can. I think it's a symbiotic relationship. Sometimes you need them to do it for you, but other times they need you to do it for them. If you look at our neighbours, Man United, Newcastle for the case in point, where sometimes they've gone on to not necessarily success, however, they've improved the standing by using that weapon which the other team patently do not have on that night. So sometimes we let that go as a fan base. And granted that it's also got to be said, people are settling into this place. They're not sitting with the people they used to sit with. I am, but loads of people aren't. So it's kind of when so there's an element of that to it. But I think he's right in that we have definitely got a role to play here, because we can't just be putting it out. If you look at the previous season, the coach things, the flares in the street, the dog getting carried. If we look at that, historians will look at this time and say the whole of the top echelon of that club should have been run out of town on the end of a pitchfork, because that's how they mismanaged them. However, the fan base pulled them across the line, and that is without argument. So we look at that and then jettison that as a weapon. We've got very few weapons right now. We've got potential to get more, because this ownership group has got a revenue stream where we actually could make an impact on the transfer window in years to come. In the next 6, 12, 18, 24 months. However, what we've got today, our fan base is probably the best weapon we've got right now.
I believe the atmosphere was unbelievable at the rugby. So that we've seen it in moments. The noise against Palace when Grealish scored, unbelievable. The noise, the game. Brighton, they won. It was definitely broke the records. Then Grealish just broke the record, didn't it? But that's what can be achieved. A lot of time Goodison was quiet, but when it started, it become, and it probably fell away a little bit near the end. But for so many years, it was key when it needed to be. It was electric. And it won us points.
If Matt Busby, Alex Ferguson and Arsene Wenger say it was the most intimidating, Guardiola said it too, most intimidating ground. So therefore, If those kind of people are noticing it, well, then we have to.
And Thingy, to be fair, Thingy said it the other week. Adam Wharton, Glasner, was like, once they scored, we knew it was the noise and all of this kind of thing. Well, you've got the opportunity. Then other people are saying it affected the game. We basically lost it when the crowd went. So how do we do that? It's difficult because you go to every away game.
Just going to use the away game.
Go to every away game, and I bet you in them stadiums, Everton are louder than everyone.
Absolutely,
mostly.
But it's not just when you're winning. It seems to be when you're winning.
Yeah,
that's when it comes into it. Well, that isn't the case away from home.
No.
Often it's to get you back in the game, or to drive you on. That is the aspect, the microcosm aspect of it. That's the bit to focus on, because it isn't that away from home. Often you can be losing by 2, and our crowd louder than theirs. Well, it's to drive you back forward.
I was at Fulham at the end of the season. We were there. And we went behind in the game. We went behind the game dead early. The fans never stopped. And Michalenko only equalised on half time. With, it was a bit of a dodgy goal. But Evertonians hadn't stopped singing from before the game. We were getting beat 1-0 up to half time. Now, I don't expect Hill Dickinson to be like that for 45 minutes, but for periods of time, it should be. Because when everyone does join in, it makes it the noise, the acoustics, makes it electric.
But it's a symbiotic relationship, what I tried to say before. One affects the other one. So if they're patently struggling, by the way, it might not work. It's not a magic solution.
No.
But it might work. Because often away from home,
we can do our bit.
See the fans. In Dyer the other night, as soon as he scored and he heard the song, he was like that on the halfway line. Pickford all the time.
It, doesn't he? Yeah.
So if you get signs like that, where even if it's not as positive as that, if that is positive, but their heads aren't going down because they're losing, or it's another 30 minutes and you think, here we go again, same old. If you can put that 0.5% impetus into them, jobs are good, mate. Jobs are good. That's what you paid your money for.
An interview last week, he's singing a song in his head while the game's going on. He's joining in and singing along with it when it's at the other. And that's showing you like what it can mean. And you mentioned Calvert-Lewin before, and you could tell he still had the cob on when he left that Everton. He's never sung a song for him.
Yeah, I know.
Still had the cob on, and we can go, well, he should just be playing anyway. Yeah, but we've and I'm not. This isn't the fans' fault why Everton aren't in the top 3 or whatever. But we can do our bit because we are part of it, and it matters to us, doesn't it? We go home and think about it. Wake up the next morning feeling sick, that horrible feeling in your stomach, and then it takes it a couple of days to get over it. So if it's that important to us, then we have to try to do our little bit and see whether it makes a difference. It might, like you said, it might not. Everton might be the greatest atmosphere in world football and they get beat every week. But then the players aren't good enough, or the manager's not good enough, or whatever. Let's make sure no one can say, well, if your crowd are a bit better, it might help. Remove the excuses from us, so everyone goes, can't be the crowd. Can't be the fans.
Never
the
do
fans
it.
Are
our neighbours never do it. They never turn around and say, oh, the crowd didn't turn up today, so we got beat.
No.
So they've used that as a mind, like a George Orwell thing, on the opposition for decades. So let's try it.
We've done it.
Let's try it. Ours louder.
We've seen them when they were.
So let's try it.
When they were 3-0 down to that Barcelona game, all of us knew if they got a goal, they'd win 4-0. So if Everton were playing Barcelona in second leg, 3-0 down, we'd all be going, just want to watch Messi, or I just want to watch him because we've got no chance. Be 6-0. But with them, you sort of go on them nights. You think, like the other night when they beat me, I knew that. So how many times have teams gone there and you just go, they got beat because. And it can only be the crowd. Yeah. Because they'll play the Liverpool 2 weeks later and battered or whatever.
Crystal Palace beat them 10 days before that. And it wasn't like that. No. But that gets deleted from memory because the other ones come in. So let's take a page out of their playbook.
Well, we defeated Crystal Palace because we were louder.
Just try.
That's why.
No, but I'm saying.
No.
We are bereft of offensive weapons at the moment. We're stripped of them. We're down to the bare stuff, so let's give it a go. And all it is, it's just a matter. Like I say, I will juxtapose it with the away games. For the most part, not every time. For the most part, we have they stick with the team. It's loud in the 70th minute. It's loud in the 80th minute. And very few times, unless it's 3 or 4,
yeah, of course,
everyone throws their hands in. That's fair enough, to be honest. Yeah. However, if we adopt that strategy at home, it's going to have to be a season for the rest of the season, because you don't see gains that in a short term. However, maybe it will. But if we're calling for Moyes, which I have been, to address the whole coaching staff, what can we do better? What are we sleeping on some stuff or taking it for granted that we know it? Yeah. Because maybe we have to reevaluate all of us as individuals and also collectively, fan base included. Well, that might be one area what you might want to look at. Yeah,
definitely. Josh says, great to see Dave back in the studio. Could listen to him all day. Talk about the Blues.
Thank you, Josh.
Ian says, afternoon all, great to see Dave on again. Always interesting conversation. Says, was watching Howard's Way last week. Great seeing him on there as well.
As well.
And then he said, Baz and Dave, what's the minimum points required out the next 3 games before TFG start loading the gun? I don't know whether they're going to start loading the gun, but we've got Fulham, Man United and Newcastle at home.
Maybe not very many.
Newcastle are level with us. They're no great shape.
I know, but the thing about them is it depends on who turns. It's a little bit like Fulham, actually. It depends on who turns up on the day. They turn up, they look decent. Other days you look at them and think, how did you get into the Champions League? But then again, what they have got, Walter Mandy, is looks like he knows where the net is. So what's all you need in this league? That's all you need in this league and everyone forgets about the problems and everyone forgets about the 70 minutes you were under pressure and should have really been 2-0 down and people getting sent off and that it's about the thing I said to you before about make, do, amend and find a way to do it. Well, they seem to find a way to do it. They lost Isak. Everyone thought the wheels would fall off it. Actually, they look a bit more potent going forward. He was a good player, but they had to get him in the game for him to be a good player.
He still only scored the same goals as Everton.
I know that,
which
but
is mad,
he scored about 80% of him. Whereas we can't say that about any of our forwards.
We haven't got anyone who's put
no one near it. So you had to pay proper dough for him, by the way. You paid good money for him. However, so back to the points thing, if you were to take a win from either Newcastle and Fulham and a draw from the other one and write Man United off away from home, a ground where we haven't really got the greatest record, it's not even anywhere near that level, I would shake it out right now and walk away
move
from
on.
it. Yeah.
Okay, so at least 4, Ian. Bill says, afternoon, great to hear Dave again. My issue, yes, is the squad. It still has issues, full back and striker, and we have made some progress, but he isn't trying anything different. It's the same 12 or 13 players. We have £90 million sat on the bench. Agree the players need to take responsibility too, but the manager is a big factor, and his in-game management and handling of new players is poor. Subbing off Barry or Beto at 60 gives neither confidence, keeping Dibbling and Roll on the bench when they both need to get up to speed, dropping Alcaraz when he played well. Ultimately, it's on both players and manager, but the manager sets the tone, and his in-game management is not helping the players or the team. He'll be forced into changes when AFCON comes around. Anyway, big game Saturday. I hope he's a bit braver, like he was when he came in. I still have faith in him. Lawson just says in his interview, Kinnear said we'd only spend in Jan due to injury or underperformance. That surely means we are getting a striker. That surely means we're getting a striker as both are hugely underperforming. Well, I think they will be looking. Won't they? They'll be looking. It's like you said, it's what's available in January. Now, can he get someone on loan? Richarlison seems like one that might be doable.
He'd fit the profile
on loan.
No, but if
and he can play anywhere across the 3.
If it's not Richarlison, other teams where I've got a couple of strikers where the third cab off the rank, as it were, doesn't seem to be fancied by the manager, is coming to the last year of his contract, last 18 months of his contract, and he himself, the player, might want to just put himself in, not necessarily to join Everton permanently, but put himself in the shop window and say, I can still do this. There's a World Cup coming up.
Yeah, of course.
I think that actually strengthens our hand to say international players who are on the periphery.
Well, that's why Tony has been linked.
I would ideally take Tony.
because he needs that. He doesn't necessarily want to come back.
But again, he's over there, and
He's
that's a big
dough.
load of dough, my mate. It's a big load of dough. So just to get him over here would be an investment.
David's just nice to see Dave back. Bill says it's like when Deitch was here and we were on that bad run, and he wouldn't change it. If we keep doing the same thing, we won't win. As Baz says, change it. Bill says, agree with Dave, our number 9 is often isolated, and then to top it off, they're under pressure when they don't score and they're off after 60. That doesn't help either forward. Sasquatch is a blue, says Goodison was a bear pick because we've had success in the past and the atmosphere was passed on to the next generation. It's hard to get 40,000 people cheering when a team where probably 40% of us hasn't seen us win anything. The Hill Dickinson will be like a bear pit, like Goodison, as soon as we win something. The passion of our fans will be heard again. It gives the younger fans a greater connection. Great show as always, lads. But what if we don't win anything? Then we're never likely to win anything, are we?
Also, it's cause and effect. What came first?
I get your points, but yeah.
I take your points as well. But what came first, the chicken or the egg? Which one affects the other one?
Yeah.
So it's, like I said before, it's a symbiosis. One has to complement the other one. And then you've got 2 weapons, not just one weapon.
That's it, yeah.
That's the ideal scenario, although he's got a point. And I agree about the fan base, the demographic of the fan base, that a lot of these kids, especially away from home, they have not seen us win anything. So I get why they often clamber for Europe after 3 or 4 wins on the bounce and get crazy about it. I understand it. I just, with experience, I look at where we've come from and where we are now, and I think, nah, it's 2 years too soon, mate, in my opinion.
Russ says, what's scaring me is the fact that in the first part of the season, Grealish was smiling for 90 minutes solid, regardless of the result. Now he's looking like he's got a proper weed on. Barry never smiles. What's going on in the background? There's Moyes losing the dressing room. I've always liked them, but something's going on.
I don't know. I've got no inside knowledge on this, by the way, just to stress that aspect. I think it's a general miasma of frustration. I think we've had to, the scales have fallen off our collective eyes about maybe we're getting a little bit carried away with ourselves. I think that Wolves game, the cup game, really did bring it home, because that was absolutely under par Wolves at the time. Even their best 11 was really poor, still is today, actually, at the moment. But we, played the second string, as it were. The goalie was out, and 4 or 5 and 6 of the other players were out. But he made 4 subs, so by the end of the game, Grealish was on the park, so was Beto, so was Dewsbury Hall. And it never improved. And we had 20 minutes. So it wasn't like you brought them on for 7 minutes. It never improved. So what you would say to that is, okay, this is a little bit of a cold shower reality check kind of a moment. And I think it's just that. I don't think there's any killing each other behind the scenes. I might be wrong, could be wrong. Like I said, I do not know for certain. But I think it might just be that we needed, going into this season and this new ground, we needed 3 transfer windows at least to turn that ship around, as it were, to part of that metaphor again, and change not only the personnel, but also give you options to the style of play. You said it before, a fast winger, but pace, just the addition of pace wherever it is. We just talking about that Tottenham centre-half before. And he's the fastest player in the Premier League. And he's a centre-half. We haven't got a winger who's as fast as... We've got no pace at all.
Near it,
You've got to... All of those are little bits of the jigsaw, what you have to add when you want to get up to the upper echelons of this league. And to be honest, I think we're a ways away from that right now, actually.
It'll be interesting to see what they do in January, because like you said, it's not a great month for bringing players in, certainly buying players, and the sort of the premium on that is, it's really expensive, because like you said, some clubs don't want to lose them, or they know that you're desperate, so they start throwing an extra 5 mil on. So therefore, I'm just not sure what do you do that way. I think the only way they sort of buy someone is if if there's an opportunity and it could be a right back or something like that, and you think, well, we can get him and that's a good price, whatever.
But keeping the loan option up your sleeve in the summer,
but the loan
was a clever, smart.
Well, that's it, yeah. So I mean, Everton might go back for Liam Delap or something if he's not getting into Chelsea. Who knows? But
do it now, today, please.
But I think there's the Richarlison's one they could get. Tony's unlikely to me. I think if he was to be available, I think Spurs would go and get him. And he's obviously, and even though I know he fell out a little bit with Thomas Frank towards the end, but that was just because he wanted to go.
Yeah.
I think he'd go to Spurs. They need a striker probably. Richarlison quite clearly isn't their first choice, and he's trying to get back here and has been for about 2 years.
Yeah.
So he'd be a decent option, certainly on loan. I don't know whether you'd only get him with an obligation because they'd want him. I don't know. They might think, actually, no, go to Everton, score a few goals, and then there'll be a few after you in the summer.
It's also a World Cup, yeah.
And it's a World Cup, yeah, so he wants to play. So that's an opportunity for that. But I think midfield were well stocked, and obviously there's an opportunity in January to bring Harrison Armstrong back if they wanted to. Set up a goal last night again for Preston.
Looks mustard for them.
And he's flying. Whether he's better off just leaving him there and playing it.
Is he going to play him if he brings him back?
No, well, that's just going to be a sub,
Leave
isn't
the kid.
It? Leave him and have him next summer going, you're now a real player.
Yeah.
You're one of, I see you in this team, and that's it.
You as like the third man.
No, but that's it. That's what I mean. So it probably with that. So it would be, it is interesting. I think as new looks like Everton are going to let him go on loan in January to get games. Therefore, they're going to be looking at a European left back, I imagine, to come in on loan for a few months. So they'll probably be made up with 2 or 3 loans in January. And that Villa done it almost to perfection last January, albeit with a better level of play. They got Rashford, Asensio and Disasi from Chelsea, and it almost got them. Well, it should have got them in the Champions League. They were robbed, weren't they, last day at United, otherwise they'd have been in.
Plus, they got to the quarter-final last year, didn't they?
And they done well. Yeah. So there's opportunities there in January. Ours would be a lower level, but enough to push the squad up.
Well, that is, right now, that'll do me. Right here, right now. Because, again, I said before about sometimes we get so involved with it. If you step away and say, I remember coming in here in February, March, and saying, the last season at Goodison, with them, our neighbours looking to run away with the title, we have got to take relegation off the table. Okay, and we did do that. However, it was like weeks into Moyes' reign, so it was not certain at that stage that it was going to be the case. Okay, so to be here now with the existential stuff we've got going on now, where we're not good enough to get to Europe, and we're not doing this, and we're not scoring goals, all of which are valid points. I think we might have to say it's going to be a little bit of an adjustment period, and no football fan likes to do that, because obviously we've been waiting too long for the trophy, and again, completely valid. However, in the greater scheme of things, in the wider picture, that's just got to be the way it is. It's a new ownership. We had restrictions with the PSR, so it's going to take a couple of windows. We had to get people off the books as much as we were looking to bring them on the books, so that there's a myriad of problems here. And so to be here now, if you can, what you said before about the 15 points going into the last international window, I'd take it personally. I wouldn't be over the moon taking it, but I'll take it as okay, and then let's go again. Because like you said, January looks like it's going to be really tough. There's some tough games, but particularly losing in Jai, if we don't add some offensive impetus to this squad, I think we might struggle. And with a cup run, might be a little bit too much to ask, because we might be out of it by the time we get anything back in our team where we can affect our future in the competition. But maybe not. We'll see what happens. Stranger things have happened. But if it's about, what did he say about climbing Everest? You don't jump to the top. You have to go base camp, first one, second one, third one. It might be a little bit, that analogy would apply to us at the moment.
Just before we finish, do you think it's been overlooked how much we've missed Jarrod Brandtwaite? Because he's Everton's best defender comfortably, and he's the one in our squad you look and think, well, he's an £80 million player, really, when he's on it. And yet, we haven't had him at all. And I think he's that influential in our defence that if other clubs had him and lost him, you'd never heard the end of it. They lost Van Dijk and never shut up about it for a year. Other clubs have lost players. Arsenal said it before. Arsenal, Gabriel come out, or Saliba, and it was like, well, that's it, because they're out, that's it. Yeah. And yet we've not had this kid for a second of the season so far. And what he does is, as well as being brilliant defensively and quick, he's so calm on the ball. He starts attacks, whether it's a ball down the side or one slid into midfield. And we've all sort of just gone, oh yeah, he's injured for a few months. Right, next.
I think Michael Keane's helped. Michael Keane's he was our best player the other night.
He was the other night, Monday.
And he's been the best out of those two defenders by a country mile, in my opinion. Just an opinion.
I disagree, but fair play.
I do not disagree. Anyway, it's an opinion. However, yeah, agreed. But I would say if we'd scored with the two strikers or the forward unit, let's say that, it'd have been 6-8 more goals. Even spread among them all. In the previous 11 games, there'd be less about Brandtwaite.
But he does make a big difference.
Definitely, but that hasn't really been. There might have been 1 or 2 games where we cocked up in that position, but it hasn't been like teams are running through us.
No, but if you look at, even if you look at the goals we've conceded,
Tottenham, we might
-2 already. -3 already.
Yeah.
And we've underperformed goal scoring wise. We're 4 goals short of what we when you look at XG.
Yeah.
We're 4 under the XG, but defensively we're still 2.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying
so
it's not.
We've given up lots of chances.
You just said he's an £80 million footballer. We haven't got many at this football club. No. So, of course, it'd be ridiculous to
and he's
make
not going to be
little
back
of
till January anyway, so you'd have to just go.
And when you say January,
then
he was on the grass, man, which is another thing what I hate. On the grass is and that's how he got injured the last time, coming back from a previous injury.
Yeah.
So we might have to say, see January, that might be the end of February. Yeah. Because this time, we don't want that to happen. Because this is another real important summer we're going into. We can't be in trouble. We've got to take that off the table. And if it is that, we just have to suck it up, for another idiom which seems to be popular these days. Well, that's just how it's going to have to be. Because the alternative is unthinkable. So we don't do that. So I'm saying, absolutely we miss him. I really would like him to be back. But this time when he comes back, manage it properly so that when he comes in the team, he plays till the end of the season unchanged.
And he's whoever he's next to, whether it's Keane, Tarkowski or O'Brien, maybe Jake deserves a go at centre-back. Whoever it is, whoever's... Because I've said, even though I think Tarky's been marginally better than Keane, and I think when I've looked at all the independent things, he scores higher than Keane anyway. But I think you can put a piece of paper between them. You could make a case for dropping either of them, and I'm not saying there's no way you could. So if Brandtwaite was there and it was Michael Keane's sound.
But the reason I mention Michael Keane is that the ribboning's what he's had over the last few years. To come in and stand in for Brandtwaite, you could only possibly say that Pickford holds the same sort of standing as an individual in this team. So to come in for him and stand in for the length of time for him is a big deal for an individual. And it's like he's kind of been as good as the fella who plays every week alongside him, at least that good, in my opinion. That was all I mentioned about.
The Saturday you'll be at the food bank collection point at the van.
So, I need to say this about what we've been doing. Yes, we'll be at the van. It's on, as you come in the ground and the Hill Dickinson signs in front of you, we are to the far left corner,
by Everton Way, isn't
to
it?
the wall. As you go into the Everton Way, and you'll see the food bank van. Any items you can bring with you are obviously gratefully received. But in the past few weeks, I've had the great pleasure and experience of going to, first of all, Manchester City, which John Blaine actually was there with his wife. Came to see me at their food bank, which counterintuitively is poorly funded. With a club with all this, a training ground with stands over the road. They are literally a gazebo on the thingy way with signs they've made themselves and stuff. So sometimes you'd have to remember how lucky you are, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they look at us like our institution, our food bank, as like the big brother.
Right.
Kelly and Robbie Daniels did that, not myself. But
Yeah.
So that, great lads, great cause, great. Since then, we've been to Tranmere with the Tranmere Supporters Trust.
Right.
Who have been moved off the footprint of the ground, but they've gone over the road.
Okay.
And it was a really good experience.
Why have they been moved off the footprint?
Well, they've got issues with the chairman.
Okay.
And
Fair enough. Yeah.
know what that's
Yeah.
So I don't want to get into the minutiae because I don't really know that much. It was my first experience of it. The fan base were really generous. Everything collected over there stays over there, so it goes to... We do not go over to Tranmere, collect stuff and bring it back to Liverpool to hand it out. It goes to Wallasey, I believe she said it was in Wallasey, where it goes. Great idea. So we just went there for support.
Yeah.
And finally, our partnership with Marine.
Yeah.
We were back there Saturday.
Yeah.
They have literally opened their arms to us. It's ostensibly been me and Kelly, but Paul Chaddy came with us as well the other day. I'm talking about the vice chairman, the CEO, head of commercial operations. Every single one of them are really up in our business and coming over and making us feel welcome and giving us a place. And the security guards are aware of us, and the people who sell the tickets are aware of us. So we're really pleased with that as well. And so we want to, unfortunately, obviously there's it's someone said about the rugby before. Well, I wouldn't have gone to rugby anyway, to be honest. But I was at Marine at the same time, because that was an opportunity where we could go. Our game wasn't till the Monday. They were at home. Sometimes they're away, and like, we'll see with the Man United weekend what happens. But we're really, really pleased with that. And what it's about is establishing a presence so that their fan base, the Marine fan base, and the aware are aware. Well, they understand them, but the awareness of, I might have a packet of biscuits, I might have some toothpaste.
That's what I meant with awareness. They're aware you're there, so they can.
So what it is, it's about, it's as much about the linking up of the mentality things. Because, it's a different demographic for a lower league game than it is for the Premier League game.
Course,
you see what I mean? Crazy, but true. So anyway, no, we're really pleased with it. It's been amazing, and the club is who I'm really trying to big up. They have been amazing with us. They've been very receptive to everything we're trying to do, and keep coming. The CEO was messaging me at midnight the other night while I was listening to the Kansas City Chiefs in the Buffalo Bills, and he was saying, "Tell me what it is, what you want. Can we help? What can we do?" And I was genuinely impressed with that.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, James. Not telling secrets. But...
Brilliant. There you go.
Excuse me.
No, go on.
My granddaughter. Yes. Even though you're pulling tongues at me on the phone this morning, I'm still going to say, hello, Coco. It is 40 days until you will be here. And I think it's 48 days till you shall be in the ground with your gaga in your seat. So let's look forward to that. Be a good girl. Love you, baby.
There you go.
That's me done.
There you go. So listen, if you've got a donation, you can take it on Saturday.
Please.
Go into the wall, head towards Everton where you see it. You can't miss it. You can't
Dry
miss
goods,
it.
tins, sanitary products, health products, toothpaste, toothbrush, soap, anything, shampoo, deodorant, anything like that.
Anything you can donate, it all makes a massive difference. So.
We are actually, sorry to interject.
No, go on.
We're down about 50%. Liverpool is still smashing it because it's an established thing. They're used to it. But we are down up to now on this season. It's a little bit less than 50% now because people are starting to get used to it. But from what we used to take in the fan zone at Goodison, we're down a lot. So if you can find it in your heart or you're able to do it, we'd be mostly... And
again, that'll just be awareness of where you're
Absolutely.
at. Obviously, you couldn't sort of miss it at Goodison when you went. You could see where it was. It was a real presence. But that's where it is. You go through the wall. It's on the left-hand side as you walk through the wall. Everton Way. You can't miss it. If you can spare anything, please do help.
Please do.
Right, big thanks to Dave for coming in. Make sure you like,
Peace,
subscribe, do all that, and we'll see you later.